everyone, it's Candace. Valentine's Day is coming up soon, so I have a card to make for you today. Let me tell you what materials are needed to make this card. I used 3 pieces of cardstock for this card. The base is an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of red cardstock from my stash that's been scored and folded at 4 1/4. Next are 2 panels of Neenah 80-pound white cardstock. The top measures 4 by 5 1/4 and the bottom measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I will die cut the top panel and blend colors on the bottom. Also, the bottom panel will be used to die cut the word love. Next, I have the Heart Sprinkled Trail die from Simon Says Stamps, and I have a love die. I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure where this particular love die came from. There are a lot of love dies out there. I have several. I'm sure it would be easy for you to find one. I'm going to blend 3 inks. The first one is Picked Raspberry Distress ink. I should be better at it, but I'm not. I suspect that I've got a rather heavy hand and need to do several soft layers and build up the colors. Fortunately, so little of the blending will show that this won't be an issue. The next ink is from my favorite things. It's Wild Cherry, and I have to say that this one blended really nicely. I was really surprised. I don't know that I've ever used this one before, but I like it. I'm sure to use it again. The last ink I used was Distress Oxide Wilted Violet. It doesn't look that bad on the video. I was a little unhappy with it, but all in all, it worked out just fine. I'll just keep practicing to get a lighter hand at it. But you'll see, it looks pretty good. I made another panel before I began this video, and I'll put it to use later on. Now I want to clean up my hands and I want to clean up my workspace. There's just been so many times where I've accidentally gotten ink on my card as I'm working and not realizing that I had ink all over my fingers. I don't mind that my hands are stained. I just mind that I've ruined my cards because I've had the ink all over me. Now I want to add some sparkle and shine to the panel. So I'm using some Perfect Pearl in the color called Perfect Pearl. I just take a soft brush and dip the tip in the jar and brush it over the panel. You can see what a nice shine that gives to the cardstock. To set the Perfect Pearls, I spray some water in the air and waft the cardstock through the mist. So I'll clean up my mess and move on to the next step. So now I get out my Big Shot and I take my blended color panel and my love die and run it through the Big Shot, and I'm going to put that aside. Then remember that colored blended panel that didn't work out so well? Well, it doesn't go to waste. I run that through the Big Shot 2 more times with the love die. I'll use that as my bottom 2 layers when I stack them. Here's the Heart Sprinkled Trail die. I place it at the top of the 4 by 5 1/4 inch panel and run it through my Big Shot twice. Actually, if you wanted, you could put the die at the bottom and the love you at the top, and the card would look equally as nice. Then with my pick, I punch out the hearts and circles, but I only save the hearts for later. So here I have the 3 love die cuts, and I'm gluing them together, saving the best one for the top. I'm using Nouveau Deluxe Adhesive Craft Glue. I like it a lot because it dries clear and also it dries quickly. Another thing that I like about it is that it allows me to put down little drops of glue atop my words. One time I was applying glue like this while my 6-year-old grandson Roman was watching, and he said, dot, dot, not a lot. I said, Roman, where did you get that expression? And he said, from his art teacher. Well, the art teacher is wise, and now whenever I add these little drops of glue, that's what I think. Dot, dot, not a lot. Now it's time to put the top layers together with my tape runner. Using my MISTI, I stamped the word You from Sunny Studios' Happy Thoughts using Colorbox's Pigment Archival Gold ink. I stamp it 3 times to get a good enough impression. I need to add the word love above the U, and to keep it straight, I use a T-ruler. My eye isn't as good as I would like it to be, and if I have the tool, I may as well use it. Time to add the card base, and I can be done here if I want. Since I've used a red base, I will add a white insert to write a message inside. Remember the hearts that I punched out of the die? Well, I decided to put them on the card as an embellishment. Here's the thing. I have lots of sequins and ribbons and ephemera in my craft room, but when I add them to my cards, they cost extra to mail, and postage has gotten expensive. So many of my cards have gotten simpler. Adding these hearts will not incur extra postage, and they add some charm to the card. It was hard to see the embellishments at the end, and I apologize for that. But keep in mind that you can use this card anytime you want to say, I love you, not just for Valentine's Day. Bye now.